And that's what's real in my life. I am so often distracted by all the things I'm supposed to be influencing that I truly don't have any influence over. And it breaks apart my power. It makes me feel weaker. Shouldn't I be fighting against this policy? Shouldn't I be shutting down, condemning that war? Shouldn't I be making a difference for the unhoused person on the street? I'll do that when I'm there. But when I'm here, I have these things to do. Right now, I have this message to give to you, to whomever is listening in this moment. That's what I most want to be empowered to do right where I am. And the only time I can do that is in the now.
Yeah.
The notion of distraction is very similar. As I sort of said at the beginning, I could think about, well, later I'm going to have to get lunch. And what about going to the groceries? And, last night, that phone call conversation I had really left me aching a little bit. And, but the effect is the same. It removes me from this, what we call the holy instant, which the
Wow.
holy instant is only right now.
Welcome back to Relatable Wisdom, the podcast where everyday people share the quotes that have shaped their lives, inviting us all to reflect and grow together. Today we're joined by David Alan Brown, a passionate teacher and author who has dedicated over 30 years to empowering others through personal growth and spirituality. With a rich background in leadership and a unique approach to self-discovery, David's journey is both inspiring and deeply human. Let's dive into David's world and explore the wisdom that has guided him on this path. Tell us your name and what you do.
Hi, my name is David Allen Brown, and I'm an author and teacher. I'm based in New York City in the United States.
Yeah, thank you for accepting my invitation to be on the podcast.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. What's your favorite quote?
My favorite quote is short, and it's a mantra that I use, and it is simply "Be now."
Wow. Be here now. What does that mean? What does it mean to be here now? I mean, I'm here. Why do we have a quote to say be here now?
Right. Except, are we in this moment as we need to be, as can really enact our power as a human being? So often we are distracted. We're not present in this moment. We're thinking about somewhere else or something else. We're thinking about what happened in the past to us, an event. We're still living something that is carried forth from somewhere else in the past, or we're predicting in the future what might happen next. And we're wondering and trying to decipher if we can control or manage or create the next thing. And sometimes we're absent. We're not really exactly in this moment. And I love this mantra because when you say it all together, it helps erase all of the distractions, take away all the things that are keeping us from being focused. And it settles my mind and allows what I want to have happen to happen, which is often peace or calm or, a release of fear or anxiety or worry. And so it soothes me in the moment. But I also love it because if you take each word, there's so much more depth to it. There's so much more you can understand about
Okay.
it.
Let's approach it that way. Be.
Okay. Yeah.
What's does it
Well,
mean to be?
let's start with here.
Okay.
Let's start with,
Yeah.
what does it mean to be here in this space? Because
Okay.
this goes to a spiritual principle we call attunement, which is really just another word for awareness, which is that when we take a moment to be here, we set aside anything that isn't. We move away from the things, especially in my culture, like news or some message someone else is trying to tell me, or some trend that I think affects my life. But when I get to the here, I know that really what is to my right and to my left, what I can see, what I can be grateful for, what I can notice, and depending where I am, the beauty that I can find. My lovely pet cat is sleeping right over there. I'm so grateful for
Yeah.
her every day. And so I can notice that, I can bring beauty to mind. I can bring attunement, which is attunement between me and all of the things. I can notice, oh, I have water standing by. That's good. I have what I need. I get to this space, and that's what's real in my life. I am so often distracted by all the things I'm supposed to be influencing that I truly don't have any influence over. And it breaks apart my power. It makes me feel weaker. Shouldn't I be fighting against this policy? Shouldn't I be shutting down, condemning that war? Shouldn't I be making a difference for the unhoused person on the street. I'll do that when I'm there. But when I'm here, I have these things to do. Right now, I have this message to give to you, to whomever is listening in this moment. That's what I most want to be empowered to do right where I am. And the only time I can do that is in the now.
Yeah.
The notion of distraction is very similar. As I sort of said at the beginning, I could think about, well, later I'm going to have to get lunch. And what about going to the groceries? And, last night, that phone call conversation I had really left me aching a little bit. And, but the effect is the same. It removes me from this, what we call the holy instant, which the
Wow.
holy instant is only right now. The only place I have to make a difference is in this very instant. The only person with whom I'm making a difference right now is you. And if I'm not present with you, then all of the energy, all of the possibility, all of the glorious expectation of what can happen between two souls is lost, is distracted. Have you ever been at a
Yeah.
party where it seemed like the person you were talking to was kind of constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering
Yeah.
if someone, and, they were hoping that someone they knew better? I mean, after a while, you start to think, is it me? Like, is there someone better coming? Because you've lost me. Clearly, I'm not your focus, or a teacher, or even in the midst of family or our most primary relationships, that notion of just being so distracted by cooking and cleaning and things and having to do that we don't find this instant, this moment. We have to be super intentional about it, which is why I love that there's this mantra that I can return to. Wait, be here now.
Let's take a quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation and want more thought-provoking ideas straight to your inbox, join the Relatable Wisdom email list. It's free, quick, and filled with bite-sized insights, inspiring quotes, and behind-the-scenes reflections from our guests. Just head to relatablewisdom.com/join. That is relatablewisdom.com/join, or tap the link in the show notes. And hey, subscribing to the podcast helps more than you think, and it's free. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button wherever you're listening. All right, let's get back to the conversation.
Sometimes brings me back to family, sometimes brings me back to the table, sometimes
Yeah, the
brings
work
me
at
back
hand.
to the eye contact of whomever I'm speaking with in this instant, because it's only now, and then there's the now, and then there's now. And even the things that I think I might be forecasting for later, I'll only be able to make that impact in that moment later. And the things that I need to let go from behind, I need to be let go of. And even if I'm going to make an atonement or a variation or a reaction to something that happened before, still happens right now. It's right
Yeah.
now in which I choose to do that.
I
So
like
now is the powerful time.
I noticed that the phrase, which is be here now, has three words. Now is this a symbol of time. Year is a symbol of place. Now, place not just physically, but both physically and metaphorically, right? And then the be, because a lot of the time, most persons they are here now. They are not be. There's no be. That is be for me. I feel that it is asking you the question: who am I to be right now? Like there's a point in
Right.
time when you're supposed to be the dad in that point in time. There's a point in time where you're supposed to be the hardworking man dealing with the job. So sometimes you have to ask, at this moment in time, in this place in time, who do I need to be? Because you see the issue with that example you gave, that person is always looking over the shoulders. They're there, right? They're in that place, they're not in time, they're even talking, they sometimes they respond to you, but they're not being what they need to be at that point in time.
Right.
And so even though they're
Exactly.
there, even if they can hear, they can recount everything you tell them, right? They can actually hear all the things you're saying. They're not exactly there.
That's right. That's right. That's the perfect bridge to the third word, that be. And it's, to be who you are right then. And, I think what I would add to that, because what you said is perfect. What am I to be at this moment? And the example of father is so powerful. And if you're not certain, there is an ultimate truth to who I'm supposed to be. Because in any moment, in any now, you can be the loving presence of energy that you are meant to be. You can
Yeah.
be the accepting and supporting. You can be whatever the situation calls for. And it can always call for a loving presence, for connecting with someone, with kindness, with peace. bringing the highest elements of who we are, who our higher selves are, what your higher power is calling you to be, in whatever form you see that. But when we get to the truth of all of the variations of higher power, what we understand is that they are the loving presence. And we on earth are to be the loving presence for each other. And so in
Yeah.
the midst of whatever role, which is a beautiful way of depicting this mantra, there is also the truth of what you're to be in that moment is a forgiving, loving, peaceful, caring, kind, compassionate, loving presence. And so for me, although sometimes it is very real and very physical and very much about getting rid of anxiety and getting centered and getting focused and getting my stuff together, be here
Yeah.
now. Oftentimes, too, especially when I'm out in the world, when I'm in a crowd, when I'm around strangers, when I'm at a store, when I'm, walking the street, I can become very present, even just in walking from here to there. And instead of thinking about the there and what's next and et cetera, being present on the street of the beauty that's around me, the faces that I see, the strangers that are passing. And what am I going to be in that moment? I'm just going to be a bubble, a beacon, an energy of peace and calm and love. And I have no clue. I cannot think to the future, nor will I ever know in the past how that difference has been made, what that energy has done. But in that moment, thanks to that mantra, be here now, I know I will have fulfilled what I am on this planet to do. And that's
Yeah.
why I use it often and in so many places and in preparation for so many things.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that quote. Has there been a very specific instance where it felt like you like trying to live by, apply the quote felt really, really difficult?
Oh,
And mm,
yeah, I think that my daughter has dealt with severe anxiety since she entered adolescence, since she was about 13 years old. And there's a very long learning curve when that happens. And we discovered that hers was not typical. It was not a simple few appointments or a certain medication. It was very, very, very severe. And when you care for anyone who's chronically ill, and maybe some of the people listening understand this, there are so often points where it seems hopeless, or it seems huge, or it seems like it's going to go on forever. And I would find myself going down that road, especially as a parent. How will they ever live on their own? How will I ever be able to balance my own life with what I have to do to care for her? How will she go to school? There was times in high school we weren't sure she would graduate from high school. Well, how do you live in our culture if you don't have an education? What if she can't get an ed? And these, I mean, all along the way, there would just be instance after instance in which the disease itself seemed so overwhelming that, and so out of my control, that I just couldn't find peace in it, especially with your child who is suffering, who you see is ailing. And mental health issues can be as obvious and as painful as any other health issue. And we would see her suffering from the anxiety, from the panic attacks, from the racing heart, from the fear in her face. And there's no more difficult time for a parent than that. And the calling on the be here now was very, very hard. And yet what we learned over time is that, I mean, we like to say we have a 100% track record of succeeding, of getting over those panic attacks, of recovering from those difficult times. And when we started to recognize that and bring it into the moment of difficulty, like if we can be here now, we know that what will come will be fine. Be here now, deal with what these symptoms are, deal with this circumstance, deal with this pain, which so often, because it is something the body has to work through, just meant being present and being loving and being caring and accepting whatever reality was there, being super attuned to just what was happening, not what you wish was happening, not what you were trying to force was happening. This was a disease. It was a chemical reaction that was going on in her body. There was literally nothing we could do until the chemicals balanced themselves back out. It's the ultimate occasion of having to just deal with what was there, even though what was there was really hard. And yet it was the thing that got us through. Now, that took a lot of practice, and I didn't always do it. Sometimes I really did resist, and sometimes I really did want something different. And the times I could remember to do it, it led us to peace and to health, even health and all of the things that we wanted to have happen next. So Yeah, that's one of my better examples.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing the quotes and for just helping me make sense of it.
You bet.
Yeah. If people want to learn more about you and what you do, um, where can they do that?
Yeah, so come to my website, which is davidallenbrown.com, and check the spelling on the screen. Sometimes people mess up the Allen. So David Allen, Alan Brown, BROWN.com, and you find all the things that I do there: the speaking and the teaching, and then my program Convergence, which is about this a little bit too. And you can track me down, send an email too, and we'll chat about all the things, anything you want to talk about.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really love the fact that you really went personal and you shared the story to illustrate the concept that even though this is your favorite quote, and it's not because you have it all figured out, but sometimes it's difficult for you to like be there, but you always try to be there. Thank you so much, David.
Yep. Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Yeah. You've been listening to Relatable Wisdom, and I've been your host, Wisdom Okonkwo. You've been listening to the podcast where every story, quote, and insight helps you see life a little differently. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow the show on your favorite podcast app and share it with someone who loved the conversation. For more inspiring voices and timeless wisdom, visit relatablewisdom.com. Until next time, keep living, learning, and collecting wisdom that matters most to you.